Hello, NBA fans. Daily news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a fan of the Lakers show and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Clearly, the Lakers front office is prioritizing building a superstar roster around Luka Doncic, and a star player is being floated who has all the necessary qualifications to help the Lakers. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a high-level defender and a solid scorer. The Lakers could offer a package including Austin Reeves, who will be a free agent in 2026, and bring in a 25-year-old player to partner successfully with Luka Doncic. The Lakers are being pushed to acquire the two-time All-Star to help LeBron James win his fifth championship. Luka Doncic and LeBron James need help for the 2025-26 season. Jackson is one of the most talented centers in the NBA. The Michigan State native secured a $240 million contract extension with the Grizzlies earlier this summer, and rightfully so. While the 6 feet 2 inches forward still has a long way to go as a rebounder, he is a high-impact interior defender, a skilled pick-and-roll receiver, a handy low-post operator, and a much better three-point shooter, allowing him to take defenders off the dribble when they overcommit. The 2023 Defensive Player of the Year contributed 22.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game last season, shooting 48.8% from the field and 37.5% from three against the 8th-seeded Grizzlies. If the Memphis Grizzlies are willing to consider a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr., they should certainly be on the Lakers' radar as the season unfolds. After a crushing first-round loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Grizzlies have decided to move forward with their core of Jackson and Ja Morant, and if that quickly proves insufficient to propel them into contention, the organization could opt to trade Jaren Jackson Jr. Lakers coach looking for new ways to best utilize Luka Doncic. Los Angeles Lakers superstar Luka Doncic is showcasing his new physique, participating in the 2025 Eurobasket. Doncic has been showing up and showing out during the tournament, proving that he is ready to take the world by storm once the NBA season commences. The 26-year-old superstar, regardless of being in shape or not, is demonstrating why he is one of the best players in the world. Los Angeles Sparks vs. Washington Mystics, game highlights. While that is the case, fans in LA only care if he can lead the Lakers to heights they've become accustomed to. In LA, it's all about titles, and if he fails to do that here, no one will care how great a player he is. However, in order for LA to reach those heights, Doncic needs all the help he can to meet those expectations. Well, leave it up to Lakers assistant coach Greg St. Jean this summer, who is also an assistant coach for the Slovenian national team in Eurobasket. In a recent interview with Basket News, St. Jean said he is doing his best to figure out how to best utilize Doncic in LA. Coach Sekulic is a fantastic coach, and obviously, he has a great system and has had a lot of success here with the national team. He's coached Luka and known him for a long time. We had a relationship prior, in 2022, so we've talked a little bit about some different ways to utilize Luka. And we've tried to all come together and put our basketball brains together to try to set our team up for success. And we've used a few things from the Lakers. Obviously, there's been some stuff that we've used from his, Sekulic's, book. It's been a great partnership. There's a lot of stuff that we're watching and seeing. But there are things that we see in the tournament, whether it's an opponent doing it or we're doing it, that I'll sit there and I'll take my notes and say, hey, that's something that would be great for us to try with the Lakers. Or that's something I haven't seen in the NBA. There are a lot of really good players and really good coaches over here. So, I'm just trying to learn as much as possible. The 5-time All-Star has been fantastic for his home country. He is showing that his weight loss has been no issue. In fact, he looks better than ever as he prepares for his first full season with the Lakers this fall. St. Jean has a tall task at hand, but with J.J. Redick at the helm, he and his staff will do everything they can to ensure Doncic is at his best with the best support around him. That may not be this season, but it could be sooner rather than later. Only time will tell how it pans out. LeBron James leaving the Lakers this season becomes more likely by the day. NBA reporter Jovan Buha recently stated that he believes LeBron James' chances of remaining with the Los Angeles Lakers through the end of the upcoming season are around 85%. As he notes in a recent YouTube video, this number is down from the 95% figure that he had stated in the past. Buha is a noted trustworthy source on the Lakers, so this educated guess from him carries at least a little bit of weight. And honestly, is anyone surprised to hear that percentage continue to decrease? It's really not all that shocking considering the circumstances. There's already not been much clarity when it comes to LeBron's situation and where he's going to end up finishing his career. Every time the subject has been brought up, it seems like it's been met with vague reactions or tongue-in-cheek replies. There's no clear indication of what's going to happen from James' side of things. And who can blame him for attempting to conceal his plans? It's pretty understandable for one of the most scrutinized American athletes to want to maintain some level of secrecy about what will of course become another career-defining move. Whether he wants to retire in Los Angeles, return to Cleveland where it all began, or do something else is up to LeBron himself. LeBron may not finish the 2025-26 season in Los Angeles. From an outside perspective, it would certainly seem like there would be positives if James did opt to leave Southern California. He's clearly the second best player on the roster with Luka Doncic now running the show. The focus is no longer primarily on number 23, and he's not always the first topic of discussion when the Lakers are talked about anymore. There's a lot of obvious draw if you want to talk about him going back to the Cavaliers, too. National media outlets are already foaming at the mouth just thinking of LeBron running home to Northeast Ohio for a planned retirement tour. If he does just that and announces before the season that it'll be his last, like Kobe Bryant did, he'll get every media member from every corner of the United States rushing out to cover every public appearance he makes for the season. Of course, that will also happen regardless of where he retires, but it's hard to say doing it in Cleveland wouldn't have an added element of storybook flash to it. But no matter what James ends up doing, it feels like we're getting closer and closer to something happening. When it stays this quiet for this long, you've got to think something is up. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see LeBron traded in the upcoming season. Best believe if he truly wants to finish out his career somewhere besides the Lakers, he's going to talk to who he needs to talk to, and he's going to make it happen. Lakers LeBron James's longtime rival, Celtics champion, says his time is up, retirement imminent. The Los Angeles Lakers have had quite the summer when it comes to their superstars. The roster features a blend of seasoned veterans and rising young talent, which is creating tension, particularly with LeBron James, who remains focused on winning now. Fortunately for James, he isn't the only one with that mindset. Luka Doncic shares the same urgency. Doncic being just 26 gives the Lakers a far longer timeline to build a championship-contending team, but that doesn't mean they can slow down and take their time. Doncic told Lakers president Rob Pelinka and coach J.J. Redick in May that he's not interested in taking the slow approach in building a contender. CBS Sports' Jasmine Wimbish wrote. Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s second home run. At this stage in his career, James is singularly focused on competing for titles. LeBron wants to compete for a championship, Rich Paul told ESPN. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeanie, Buss, and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. The only real question left in James' career is how much time he has left in the league, a league he's helped carry for over 2 decades. Former rival Paul Pierce believes the end is near. He's been the GOAT for so long. He's maintained the stats. We appreciate what he brought to the game and how he's held the mantle since Michael Jordan left. Bron is one of them ones. We appreciate him, but I think his time is up. We appreciate what he's done for the league, Pierce said. Follow the sporting news on WhatsApp. The idea of James calling it a career still feels surreal. In fact, much of this season does. James continues to defy expectations and appears nearly superhuman, but at some point, Father Time catches up to everyone. Pierce just believes that moment is coming sooner than most fans would like. And perhaps most surprisingly, Pierce, a longtime rival of James, openly called him the GOAT. That unexpected praise adds another twist to their storied history. Lakers are quickly heading down a costly path Mavericks fans know all too well. Lakers will soon find out just how unreliable Maxi Kleber is. Everything changed for the Dallas Mavericks and their fans on the night of February 1st this past season. Not only would Nico Harrison trade Dallas franchise superstar, Luka Doncic, with little to no warning beforehand, but Harrison would also package Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber in this deal, who became fan favorites throughout their time spent with the Mavericks. While Morris was seen as more of a salary matcher, there's no doubt that fans were alarmed to see both Doncic and Kleber in a trade. The Mavericks would net Anthony Davis and Max Christie as well as a first-round pick, but nothing could have emotionally prepared any fan for what happened in early February. As the Los Angeles Lakers look to the future, they still have Kleber on their roster, and with little to no depth at the power forward and center spots, there's a real likelihood that Kleber could have a chance at cracking J.J. Redick's rotation. With this in mind, the Lakers are planning on taking Kleber into training camp and seeing what he can do before deciding on his future, which is something that Mavericks fans know all too well. Lakers are falling into a Kleber injury trap that Mavs fans have seen before. In a recent Clutch Points article by Brett Siegel, it was reported that the Lakers are expected to take their roster into training camp, which means that they would be holding off on any trades for Kleber or Gabe Vincent. The Los Angeles Lakers are expected to take their current roster into training camp and give this group a chance to prove themselves before charting possible trades and changes, Siegel wrote. Specifically, the Lakers are interested in seeing what value Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber can provide. While this does make perfect sense considering the Lakers' current roster situation, having to rely on Kleber to see what value he can bring to your rotation has been a proven formula for disaster for the Mavericks. There's no doubt that Kleber has the skills to impact any winning rotation with his ability to stretch the floor and be an above-average defender at the rim, but health has been a major concern over the last few seasons. Since Dallas' run to the Western Conference Finals in 2022, Kleber's career has been struck by freak injury after freak injury, which has resulted in him becoming unplayable at times throughout his career. In the 3 seasons following the Mavericks' run to the conference finals, Kleber only combined for 114 regular season games played, with only having played over half of the 82-game season in one of those 3 years. Not only would Kleber's health fall off a cliff, but his production would taper in the years following. In those 3 seasons spent battling the injury bug, Kleber would only average a high of 5.9 points per game in the 2022-23 NBA season and would slowly decline from there, with him averaging a career low of 3 points per game on 38.5% shooting from the field in the year he was traded. Outside of a shocking Game 5 appearance in the first round of the 2024 playoffs against the Los Angeles Clippers, where Kleber would shoot 5 to 7 from behind the three-point line, Kleber has been unreliable. Although it's not uncommon for a team to take its roster into training camp this late into the offseason, if Kleber begins to raise some eyebrows on the Lakers coaching staff, they could very well fall into a trap that the Mavericks were in for 3 years. Relying on an aging forward is never a good sign for a team's championship hopes, and the Lakers would soon find that out with Kleber. After being traded to Los Angeles, Kleber would fail to make an appearance in the regular season as he was battling a broken right foot that he suffered early in the year with the Mavericks. He would eventually suit up for one of Los Angeles's playoff $50 million buyout leaves the Lakers stuck with no flexibility. A buyout would leave over $50 million in dead money on their books, with no cap space to replace him and no meaningful return. That would be a huge step back. It would slam the brakes on the entire future operation. Jovan Buha said on Buha's block, "If you buy out LeBron, you now have $50 million sitting on your cap and no one or no means to replace that. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't align with what they're trying to do with the 2026 or 2027 plan. That right there is the bottom line. Buying out LeBron would be waving the white flag on the season before training camp even starts." Buha added, "If you buy out LeBron, you are effectively punting on the season, you're paying to make your team a lot worse. That is not what this franchise is about, especially not now." LeBron opted into the final year of his contract this summer, a move that some around the league interpreted as the beginning of a slow exit. Since then, there has been no real indication that he is looking to leave. In fact, staying in Los Angeles makes the most sense, not only for him, but for the team. His son, Bronny, is on the roster. The Lakers compare him with a consensus top 5 player in the league in Luka Doncic, and they have done a good job positioning themselves to stay competitive in the short term without locking themselves into bad long-term deals. If anything were more plausible than a buyout, it would be a trade, but that is not exactly realistic either. Any team looking to acquire LeBron would have to send back a massive salary just to make the math work. You are not trading for LeBron without giving up several rotation players or a big contract. That kind of move would likely gut any contending roster. That is the catch. LeBron still plays at an elite level, but acquiring him is not a simple task. The Lakers, despite the noise, are not operating like a team that is ready to move on. What makes the most sense is what is already happening. LeBron stays put. The Lakers stay competitive. The door remains open for a real run.